We oppose entirely people coming into this country and bringing with them the troubles they have left behind. Coming to this country and ignoring our values, our language, our traditions, our dress, and the fact that we are predominantly a Judeo-Christian society. It's time we woke up.
Ever since Pauline Hanson delivered this speech, something's really changed in Australia. This is a lady who stood up and called multiculturalism a failure being rammed down our throats. On this speech, she dropped truth bombs that had the usual suspects in hysterics. You won't believe how the Muslims in the audience reacted.
Undeniably, immigration or immigration policy has our country in the state of crisis. At the centre of this crisis is the utterly flawed policy of multiculturalism. We cannot be a multicultural society. We are a multiracial society, but we must be monocultural. Australians must live under the one cultural umbrella. Now to the facts. As one of your own, Paul Kelly, reminded us recently, some of our best universities have nearly 50% of their enrolments being overseas students. Is that what the electorate wants or supports? 32% of our population, 8.8 million people, have been born overseas. Is that what Australia supports? In the 2021 census, more than half of Australian residents, 51.5%, were born overseas or had one parent born overseas. 51.5%. Is that what's supported by the Australian electorate? Is that what Australia wants? The comparable figure for the United States is 14%. Do Australians feel that the nation is losing its identity along with its values? We all know the answer to that. Let me amplify this issue of national identity and Australian values. Only a fool would ignore the growing language problem, which is a function of immigration.
Pauline drops the truth bomb at the National Press Club, slash immigration and go monocultural. Multiculturalism doesn't work. It just creates tribes. You won't believe how the critics howled like she'd kicked their sacred cow.
Again, the 2021 census showed that 1 in 4 people, 23%, speak a language other than English at home, the most common being Mandarin and Arabic. How can you generate social cohesion if people can't speak the language? In that same census, 872,000 people self-reported as speaking English not well or not at all. Under the failed policy of multiculturalism, all cultures are allowed equivalence to ours. Surely opposing that is not racist, it's common sense. My party is rightly called One Nation. It is clear what we stand for. One nation, under one flag, and proudly Australian. We oppose entirely people coming into this country and bringing with them the troubles they have left behind. Coming to this country and ignoring our values, our language, our traditions, our dress, and the fact that we are predominantly a Judeo-Christian society. It's time we woke up.
But here's the rub. Anyone pretending all cultures are equal is either naive or selling snake oil. Pauline's not scared to say it, and that's why she's shaking the tree. The opposition she faces shows exactly why monoculture talk is needed now more than ever. And it gets even crazier when a refugee type tells Pauline she should leave if she doesn't like where Australia's heading. I promise you cannot make this stuff up.
I'd tell Pauline Hanson that if she doesn't like how things are here in Australia, then she can really pack her bags and go to the US and continue being best buds with Trump.
Now look at this cheek. The sheer front of it is astounding. Coming from Pauline herself, she responded by saying she loves it when someone like Fatima Payman tells her to pack up in her own country. Following One Nation's strong stance against mass migration from incompatible places, this takes the cake.
Senator Hanson.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I rise to speak about the problems of immigration from Islamic countries. Australia is one of the 4 settler countries. The others are New Zealand, Canada and the United States. Immigrants to Australia have enriched our society, a society now founded on equality between the sexes, separation between religion and government, and the rule of law. We face a new challenge because over the past 40 years or so, large numbers of settlers have come from Islamic
migrants with long-term negative fiscal impacts, especially from the Horn of Africa like Sudan, Morocco, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Iraq, Central and West Africa, aren't doing Australia favours. Second-generation outcomes aren't much better. Australia skips proper reviews because the truth would terrify voters. Pauline's simple mantra hits like a sledgehammer. If you hate our laws, you should be gone. If you don't want to work, you should be gone. If you don't want to learn English, don't come here. If you expect the taxpayer to pay your way, don't come here. It's pretty simple.
Between the sexes is not accepted, and where religion and government are co-mingled. We know that Islamic countries are organised very differently and that people from these countries hold different beliefs on equality between the sexes, homosexuality and the role of religion in society. This is a historic moment. By bringing this matter into the Parliament, my party is throwing open the debate on banning or, at the very least, greatly reducing migration of such people to Australia.
As for Fatima Payman, Pauline's petition seeks action against her dual Afghan citizenship. She was elected thanks to dodgy preferences, a blight on the system. The audacity of telling an Australian icon to leave her own land says it all. But that's just the beginning. Here's the One Nation senator telling a business breakfast in Perth about her opposition to migration from radical Islamic countries. And you won't believe how spot on she is.
How can you miss that? Stop Labor, fire the liar, and that's what we're saying, fire the liar. People are sick and tired of this government who is not giving us accountability. The budget they've handed down, it's going to rake in another $77 billion out of the pockets of Australians. He's just destroyed this nation. People have had a gutful. Even the polls are saying they don't want him anymore. They don't want this Labor, toxic Labor, Greens government.
Has this come out of the money you've raised on this campaign?
Yes, it has. So I thank the Australian people again for donating to that donation to the Fire the Liar campaign. Australians got behind us. All I hear is that he's raised only $20,000. So I still would like to see his audit done.
Do you need to define what the monoculture is that you want for Australia? People are wondering exactly what that means. Can you describe it for us?
I know it's because we've always had multiculturalism rammed down us, right from back in 1996 when I opposed it then. Since then we've had other countries around the world and said it hasn't worked. We should be proud of our national identity, who we are. If we go into the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games, we fly the Australian flag because we're all Australians. Many migrants come here and said, Pauline, you're right. We've come here to be Australians and we're not embracing them as Australians. Multiculturalism is having all these individual tribes and people will be treated as such based on their cultural background. What I'm saying is, be proud to be Australian. Respect the men and women who have fought and died for this country. And it was, for the Australian flag, who we are. And it's basically saying we have our culture.
She's not alone. Comments online back her hard. The recent Rotherham gang sentencing was practically ignored by the media. Literally only one reporter from GB News showed up. An English lawyer says the UK ceased being a world leader in law long ago. A Norwegian lost all confidence in the British justice system.
Our identity, we have our Australian larrikinism, that's all part of it as well. So there's many things, and under one law. Can I just also say, people want to reflect on the Socceroos. I think it's a clear example. Well, we know they're from different cultures, but they went in there to play the game for Australia. to represent the Australian flag, the Australian people, the Australian country as one. They're playing by the one set of rules, and that's what monocultural is.
Mrs. Hanson, that's what multiculturalism is. Like, in your monoculture, can people speak a different language at home? Can they practice a different religion? If they can eat different foods? That is multiculturalism, isn't it?
SBS?
No, from the ABC.
Yeah.
I really want to try and understand your version of monoculture. Sounds like multicultural.
Howard and Tony Abbott and other leaders around the world have said multiculturalism doesn't work. Go and research that. Understand what's happening.
It has one law currently.
It hasn't. We are one nation. Yes, we are one nation. We are, and it should be one language. You got 872,000 people. Do you want me to answer the question or not? Because I'll go. Right? We have 872,000 people in this country who cannot speak English or very little of it. How do you expect these people to then understand our political process when they go to vote? How are they voting? Because they can't understand. It has to be the English language as well. I'm not saying take it away. I met this woman from Russia years ago, and she said, my parents moved out here. She said, my mother said, we must integrate, assimilate into the society. We chose to come here. We are now Australians. The father said, no, we're not going to learn the language. And she said, Dad was wrong, Mum was right. We have to integrate. We are Australians. And go and speak to some migrants out there, because they have embraced this country. They love this country. They are Australians. Don't take that away from them.
The pattern's crystal clear across the West. Import the problems, watch trust evaporate. Pauline's not the radical. The denial is. And if you think that's bad, just wait till you see what went down when she visited the Islamic College of Brisbane to confront her views on multiculturalism head-on.
Meeting a group of young Muslim Australians at the Islamic College of Brisbane. It's proudly one of the nation's most multiracial and multicultural. For Pauline, it's foreign territory.
Senator, welcome to the Islamic College of Brisbane. We are Queensland's largest and one of the oldest Islamic schools in the country.
The school's CEO, Ali Kadri, tells her that he and the entire staff and student body are her constituents.
Senator, have you been to an Islamic school before?
No, I haven't.
We're lucky to welcome you here.
Thank you.
It's the first time Pauline has sat down to talk with those seemingly in monoculture's direct line of fire.
But Australia is more than where I live. It's my home. It's a country that has given me the freedom to embrace who I am and pursue my ambitions and dreams without limits.
Thank you.
Australia is the only home I've ever known, and it's a country I'm incredibly proud to call my own.
I was born in Pakistan, and I moved here to Australia with my family when I was 3.5, and I can confidently say that I'm proud to be Australian. Senator, if your own child or grandchild had a close Muslim friend, would you encourage this friendship? Why or why not?
I have no problem with that. With people having friends as Muslim. You know, it's not about being a Muslim, it's about radicalisation. We are seeing so much radicalisation happening in this country. People are in fear now of attacks. Most of the attacks comes from radical Islam in this country. That's where my concern is.
Look at this. Here you have young girls, born and raised in Australia, already choosing to cover up in the name of liberation from beauty standards. As if hiding your face is some profound feminist act instead of the exact opposite of the freedom Australian women fought. It's like watching a scene from The Handmaid's Tale being sold as empowerment, while the rest of us remember when Aussie beaches meant sunscreen, speedos, and actual personal liberty, not imported modesty police.
It's Nabiha's niqab that draws Pauline's ire.
Do you want to wear it yourself personally, or does your mother wear it?
My mother wears it, but I chose to wear it. She told me that it's better if I do it when I grow up, but I've always wanted to do it from a young age, and as I grew older to this age, my urge to wear it grew stronger, and yeah, it was my own choice.
Why do you feel you want to wear it?
Because I feel like it's like a way of me strengthening my connection with my God. It kind of makes me feel liberated from social beauty standards, because around me I always see a lot of girls, they get like they're like put down because of the way they look. And wearing it makes me feel like people can't exactly see my face, so they won't judge me based on how I look. They focus more on like other parts of me, like how I talk and like how I interact with other people.
It's your choice. I acknowledge and I accept that. But a lot of women are being forced to actually wear it, you know, when they don't want to.
What do you see when you say Australian way of life, Australian culture?
Would you ever wear a bikini to the beach?
No.
No.
So is that Australian way of life?
So
wearing a bikini?
It's very much an Australian culture.
So
to wear swimsuits and on the beach and different things.
If she doesn't wear it, is she not Australian?
She can choose what she wants to do.
So if I don't follow this kind of Australian culture, would that mean I'm less Australian than anyone who does?
Do you yourself believe that men should have up to, you know, a number of wives?
In Australia, it is not allowed. Then I believe that they should follow the Australian law because they choose to live in this country. They should abide by the law. However, if they were in a country where it is allowed to have multiple wives and they're okay with it, then I don't see why there's a problem.
Australian girls grow up expecting to chart their own course, not disappear behind fabric because some ancient doctrine demands it. Pauline calls it like she sees it. No sugarcoating, no politically correct dance.
Here, disregarding our law and still having their multiple wives under Sharia law. Do you believe in Sharia law?
Yes.
Do you believe that should be allowed here in Australia?
Not in Australia because it's against the law, but if you look at if it's not just Muslims, if you look at non-Muslim population, there's also men with multiple wives.
But it is occurring here in Australia anyway.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you should be allowed to be married off at your parents, to whoever parents choose for you?
Yeah. I don't see why there's a problem with it because my parents know what's best for me. As long as there's a mutual agreement, if the child themselves is fine with it, then I don't see why there's a problem.
Right.
Then,
The visit shows the parallel worlds colliding in real time, one rooted in Western individualism, the other in collective submission.
I just had a question about your thoughts on monoculture. So when you obviously talk about monoculture, like where does someone like me fit into that? Like which parts of my identity as a Muslim Australian do you see contributing to Australia and which parts don't?
You're a refugee here, aren't you?
No, I was born here.
Right, sorry. You're born here, so therefore you're an Australian like everyone else that were born here. Do you want to live in a safe country?
We are living in a safe country.
How do you know for how long? Why do people feel that they've got to put up with these gangs that have come from other countries, wielding their machetes on streets, which is never, ever, when I grew up in this country, we never had that. So different cultures bring with them a lot of bad as well as a lot of good for our...
Comments online scream the same truth. Pauline gets the dirty looks, but she's voicing what millions feel in their bones. We don't want medieval values taking root here. Keep your practices if you must, but don't expect the rest of us to bend the knee.
Senator, can I say these young people, when they hear you speak, certainly these terms like culture, assimilation, integration, they are loaded terms. They get hurt, Senator. Do you understand that sometimes those words are misinterpreted by some people who may follow you and hurt these people?
You know what? I feel offended that people don't want to embrace this nation to feel that they are Australians, because our country is not the place that I grew up in. It's not a place that I recognise anymore.
Pauline's overall message is a warning shot that Australia can't ignore. She's not opposed to immigration, but her priority is with Australians already here. They come first. The two major parties have done a number on the country we love. Worse still, if the current policy isn't changed, what it will do over the next few years should terrify every fair dinkum Aussie. The elites can keep throwing mud, but people see straight through it now. Pauline isn't perfect, but she's willing to say the uncomfortable truths others won't touch with a barge pole. If Australia keeps importing groups that refuse to blend, it won't remain the lucky country for long. The writing's already on the wall. Embrace monoculture or manage decline. It's your choice, Australia. And by the end of all this, it'll all make sense why so many are waking up. The real question is whether leaders have the spine to act before it's too late.